Just 1 week away from the 2025 football season getting going for the Houston Texans, and this rushing attack has me a little concerned, but there's still stuff to like about the situation. Let's get into it and figure out what's good about it, what's bad about it, and what's downright ugly about the rushing situation for the Houston Texans. Let's start with the good elements of this. I think, first of all, they've at least given themselves a lot of different options for Joe Mixon's absence. Mixon's going to miss at least 4 games, probably a lot more throughout the course of this season, and there's at least options. It's not just Nick Chubb. It's Nick Chubb and Dameon Pierce and Woody Marks. It's not just Dameon Pierce. It's Nick Chubb, Dameon Pierce, and Woody Marks. Woody Marks is a young piece in this running back room that is a potential solid element to it. So they've at least given themselves options when it comes to the running back room and trying to run the football without Joe Mixon being a part of the equation. And that's one of the good elements of this running back room. Another thing that is impressive about what they're going to hopefully get out of this running back situation is that Nick Caley's got a varied history with multiple running backs. You think about the time that he was in New England when they had a variety of different running backs carrying the football, when they had a variety of different players that they trusted on a week-in, week-out basis. So if the Texans need to lean on Nick Chubb one week, if they need to lean on Woody Marks another week, Nick Caley has seen that work and happen in an offense before from his time in New England. So they've got that going for them, a little bit of experience in the varied running back options with Nick Caley as the offensive coordinator for this Houston Texans team. I mentioned Woody Marks. I think he's actually one of the good elements of this running back room because Marks is a player that was not ever a bell cow in college until late in his college career. And I know he's an older player, and I know he's caught the ball a lot, but this is not a player that's coming in with 4 or 5 years of wear and tear as a traditional running back on the tread. This is a player that comes in with, yes, he was a bell cow for USC in his final year in college football, but he was never the guy in college, which means he is a fresher player than some of the other guys that have been the guy for 2, 3, 4 years at the college level. So he's got a lot of tread on his tire, and I like the potential that Woody Marks brings to the table at the running back position. He's one of my favorite running backs in the 2025 NFL draft class. I was hoping the Texans would end up with him. I didn't love the investment level in Woody Marks, but as running backs started to tick off the board in the 4th round, they decided to go up there and make that investment. And if Woody Marks turns into the top running back in this room in the absence of Joe Mixon, that investment will have ended up being worth it for Woody Marks. So I like the Woody Marks potential for this running back room. And could he end up being the main running back prior to Joe Mixon's return? I absolutely believe that he can, not only from just a what he can bring to the table perspective, but how much you could go and rely on him to be that main running back when things are all said and done prior to the potential Joe Mixon return, because again, it's not a guarantee that Joe Mixon is coming back. So those to me are the good elements here. They've at least given themselves options. They're not relying on just one player. I like the potential of Woody Marks in this running back room, and Nick Caley's got a history, a varied history with the multi-running back situation. So those things are good, and I'd love to tell you that the O-line sneaks into the good category because I watched them move a bunch of bodies against the Carolina Panthers and open up some running lanes. I just can't quite get there. But I'm not going to put the rushing attack from the offensive line perspective in the bad category just yet. Let's talk about the things that are bad about this running back room. Joe Mixon's injury is obviously bad. It's lingering for a while, at least 4 weeks, maybe more. So that's a bad element of this situation. When you were thinking about the Houston Texans and what they could accomplish in 2025, you were thinking about it with Joe Mixon being at the helm at the running back room. And he's not going to be the lead running back for this team for the first 4 weeks of the season, certainly for a good portion to the start of this season, it feels like. So that's a bad element because that sort of decreases where you thought the offense could be, not having Joe Mixon. Yes, I know it's a committee and I like Woody Marks, but that early season, a lot of it was going to be dependent on the offense protecting CJ Stroud well, getting the ball going in the air with Nick Caley's offense and being able to run the ball with Joe Mixon. Some of these early games are pretty tough, and they're going to be tough to have no Joe Mixon in the equation, and I get it. They got a committee. They're going to have guys that fill in, but I'd take Joe Mixon over this committee any day of the week. So the bad part of this running back situation is no Joe Mixon for a while. That's the biggest bad part about it. Another bad part is it's not really a proven concept with any of these guys. Dameon Pierce has had one good season in the NFL, but he was just okay in very small spurts and then bad for a good portion of the past 2 seasons. Nick Chubb in this current incarnation, we don't know exactly how versatile and durable he can be. He's only showed a little bit of wiggle in the preseason and doesn't demonstrate a lot of ability to go sideways and bounce things out. He's more of just a physical back. So how long is that going to hold up for Nick Chubb? How well can he fill in that role? And as much as I like Woody Marks, he's an unproven commodity here in the running back situation. So you have unproven commodities and unproven versions of these commodities that you're leaning on in this running back by committee. That is a little scary element of this running back situation, is that, is Chubb going to be able to handle the decreased overall ability on a consistent basis over the course of a season? Is Dameon Pierce finally going to have it click for him in this version when he hadn't really practiced a ton in the preseason and hadn't played a ton really in the preseason either? So he's kind of got to get back into football speed. And then Woody Marks, the rookie, the unproven commodity. Those to me are the 2 bad elements of this running back room. Let's get to the ugly things about this running back room. Now, Mama said if you don't have anything nice, don't say anything nice at all. But then I would only say a handful of things about this running back room, and then that'd be the end of the video. And that's not what we're doing here. The ugly part of this running back room is a injury-centric situation. Is Joe Mixon potentially could miss the entire season when the head coach or the general manager can't just say, hey, Joe's going to play at some point this season. It does raise a red flag. It does get you worried about the potential that Mixon's going to miss all the time. And a lot of time, and maybe all the time this season. So that is a scary and ugly element to this running back situation, is the potential to have no Joe Mixon over the course of this season. Another element that is ugly about this is the injury history of the top 2 guys on the depth chart behind Mixon. Nick Chubb obviously had the serious knee injury a couple of years ago, but even last year when he was coming back, didn't look 100%, and then broke his foot at the end of the season and missed the end of the season for the Cleveland Browns. So a significant injury history for him. Dameon Pierce has been hurt a bunch the past couple of seasons for the Houston Texans, so he's got a significant injury history. So you're heavily relying, if you're the Texans, on 2 guys who for the past 2 seasons have missed a tremendous amount of football. And so while it may work for a time, you do have in the back of your mind that injury history for both of those players, and exactly what can they do from a consistency and durability standpoint to really set level that running back room. It is an ugly injury history amongst those 2 guys. And then lastly, there's no other place to go. There's no other running backs to go and get here. This is the crew. That's the ugly part about it. If it does start to fall apart, you don't have some sort of miracle trade that you can make right now to go and improve this running back room. When you get a good running back, most of the time teams hang on to them. So even if you're sitting here 5-6 weeks into this thing and you want to go make a deal, if you're the Texans, it's going to be tough to go and make a deal. And typically teams don't trade running backs that are worth a hoot. You either get guys that are on expiring contracts, or you get guys that have more bad and ugly to their game than good. So there's no help on the way. This is the crew, which is one of the scarier elements of the running back room. So good, bad, ugly, easy for me to say on Labor Day weekend. Good, bad, ugly to the running back room. What did I miss? What's the good stuff that I missed about this running back room? Let me know if I missed any of the bad and the ugly as well in the comment section down below. Appreciate you watching the video. Hope you're having a fantastic Labor Day weekend. If you've got to work on Labor Day, hope that the boss man or the boss lady is not too tough on you and you do get to kick your feet up a little bit. And if you are relaxing, getting that 3-day weekend, Hope you're enjoying it, and appreciate you for watching the video. Tons of great stuff coming your way on SNL this week on my channel here on YouTube, as well as the Locker Room with my friend Landry Locker. So you don't want to miss out on that. The season is here. We made it through that long, hot summer, and it's still hot in Houston, obviously, but through that long, hot summer, through the long training camp where it was running around, not tackling. The season is upon us. The LA Rams will host the Houston Texans in just a few days, and I'm pumped. The 2025 season is here. We're going to have some fantastic stuff for you across the various channels and on Houston football. So I appreciate you watching each and every video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I can't wait until we talk Texans again soon.